Hi, yeah. My son and me had 2 days contact a week. Now, the last contact we had, he was crying and shouting at me, saying, "Mummy, just tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. Was it you and my sister that put me in care?" So I said, "No, darling, okay, I'll tell you the truth. No, it was social services that put you in care." He was also trying to blame and thinking it was another social worker who was a senior social worker assistant, because he'd heard me say in a review meeting that this other one that had just got a promotion after putting my son in care, that she'd said that in her eyes he'd failed me, and in social services eyes he'd failed me. So I had to explain to my son that no, this was actually a good guy. And he didn't realise that he was getting blamed for this, and his colleagues were backstabbing him. Now, because I've told my son the truth, as soon as I told him the truth, he was happy. He was really happy. He came out of contact, high-fived my partner. He was a happy boy, just because he needed to hear the truth, like all children do, right? And my only crime was telling the truth, and most of that truth was already told in the review meeting, okay? Right, now, I'm taking a big risk here. I'm going to the school because I always give him a weekly Doctor Who magazine, because he loves Doctor Who magazine. He hasn't had it this week. So I'm going to go into the school to give him this Doctor Who magazine. I'm going to sneak in, and I'm just going to let him know how much I love him, and that this was social services again, and also to be strong, and that I'm fighting for him. Now, there's a good chance I could get arrested for this, and I know that, but my son's worth it. As long as I get him his Doctor Who magazine, and as long as I get to see him and tell him I love him, because they have stopped all contact, and they're saying that we have to go to court like next Friday. So that's 3 contacts missed, okay, and that's a lot for a little boy. And my son, he will be in absolute bits, okay? So they think that they know what's best for children. They don't know what's best for children at all, right? All they do is destroy children's lives. They never thought for once that this was destroying my child's life. When all I've done is told the truth, right? They should have at least given me a warning first, or did that, right? But they've got it in for me, right? Because I've got my local MP involved and various other things as well, right? And they don't like it because we catch them out on things, right? But anyway, wish me luck, because that's what I'm going to do as a mother who loves her son. Right, just an update, because I just let you know that I was going to the school to give my son a Doctor Who magazine. All I wanted to do was give him his weekly Doctor Who magazine, tell him I love him and tell him to be strong, okay? I managed to get to see him, and I gave him a cuddle, right? And my son, who's usually all over me giving me cuddles, was like, "What are you doing here, Mum? You're not allowed here." And it was like he didn't even want to cuddle me, and he was surrounded by all these fucking they might as well have been bodyguards. They were teachers, right? He was sat on his own with them, and then I said, "I've just come to bring your Doctor Who magazine to tell you I love you, and to tell you that I'm fighting for us to get our contact sessions, because all I did was tell the truth," right? Anyway, he said to me, "Okay, Mummy, you're not meant to be here, you better go now," right? That really, really hurt, because that is not like my son. It's like they're poisoning his mind. I don't know what they've said to him since that meeting that I told the truth. Then the school headmistress, right, that I used to think was okay, she said, "I'm asking you to leave now," and she said, "and because of this," she said, "your son's probably going to have to change schools now." So that's going to mean that I'm actually I'm not going to know where my son is. I've been told by my solicitor that I'll probably lose all contact, all because I told the truth. All because I told the truth, and all because all I wanted to do was give him a Doctor Who magazine, right? kids need to know the truth, right? And that phone call, that was probably blooming social services, but I don't even want to speak to them at the moment. They are disgusting. They think they know what's best for the child, but all they're doing is destroying lives, right? So now, just because of that Doctor Who magazine, and I know I keep repeating myself, because the reason why is I have a head injury, and the whole reason my son got took into care is because I fell 100 foot down Cheddar Gorge cliffs, right? And I couldn't walk for the first week. I was on a Zimmer frame. So my 21-year-old daughter in Bournemouth come and picked him up, took him to Bournemouth, right? I'm in Cheddar in Somerset, right? Something very weird about Somerset, actually. And she looked after him. My daughter's 21, right? She sorted it out for everything. Bournemouth Social Services went round there, said no problem at all. The flat's lovely, loads of food in the cupboard. Carl's in high spirits. He was happy there. He had his grandmother taking him out for walks with the dogs, the lot, right? But this one bloody woman who went and decided to take him from my daughter while I was laid up, like just falling 100 foot down a cliff and heavily sedated on morphine, she took my son, right? She acted inhumanely and too quickly, right? My son, right, and do you know the reason why? It's because when my daughter was 18, she split up with someone, she tried to take an overdose, and she cut her wrist, and she had a drink. She was drinking heavily at 18, like most 18-year-olds do. She's 21. She's moved on. She was in a steady relationship. She was happy. They've now destroyed my 21-year-old daughter's life because she's blaming herself. Right? She's gone to bit. Her relationship's ended. She's gone back drinking because she says, "Mum, if I hadn't done that when I was 18, we'd still have Kyle." But it's not her fault. It's social services' fault, right? They are evil. They look for a chance to get an innocent child. I've never been a mum that's beaten up my child. I've never fucking he's been dressed well, he's been smart, he's been fed, he's never been late for school this time. He's been absolutely fine, okay? He keeps asking to come home, and the children's guardian, well, that is another story, right? The children's guardian is supposed to be the voice of the child. He's saying to her, "I want to go home to my mum, please. I want to go home to my mum." She stands up in court and she says, "I don't recommend the child goes home to his mum," right? So Cafcass, right, they are to do with Coram, one of the biggest adoption agencies, plus they are the fostering and adoption agency. So how the hell can they actually be a part of this, right? So we're not just fighting social services this side, we're fighting Cafcass this side, right? And I just, now, because I took a Doctor Who magazine up and told my son I loved him at the school, I probably am not going to see my son again. He's probably going to be moved away from the school. He's going to probably, all my contacts are going to be stopped, according to my solicitor, who is absolutely bloody useless, it seems, at the moment. And right now, I just don't know what to do. I'm in a bit of a state, so I'm just going to go. Alright, and hopefully just keep you informed in what's going on, alright, because a friend of mine recommended that I do this and put everything in recordings about what's happening, because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Oh, and I've got in trouble as well by my solicitor, because Cafcass and that said that I've been speaking to my local MP and I'm not allowed to speak to my local MP. My local MP, she's a lovely lady, she's Tessa Munt, she's been really helpful, she's been really supportive, she's been giving me good advice, right? Now, I'm not even allowed to speak to her. That's what I've been told, right? So, and to make things worse, and I know this is really bad, I saw the foster mum, right, who's been lying, who's been saying to my son, if you don't behave, you'll be moved away from Cheddar, you'll be put in loads of different homes and we won't be able to protect you. She threatens him, the dad threatens him, right? My son's told me all of this, right? So I saw her in the playground, right, and this other woman came up and put her arm around her and was leading her inside, so I've just lost it as a mother, an emotional mother, as a human being, not a fucking robot like they are. I lost the plot, and I said to her, I said, you are a lying person. You shouldn't even be a foster carer, and I curse you, I said, for that. I said, because all you do is lie. You shouldn't be a foster carer. And she looked round at me, and so I'm probably going to be in all sorts of trouble now, and probably in contempt of court, and I don't know what's going to happen with the future of mine and my son's life now. But I'm really, really worried and really scared. I feel like, as a mother, I have no rights. And they say I have half parental rights. That is a load of bollocks, excuse my French, because I don't have any rights as a mother. None of they have taken over, they've twisted things, the Kafka's guardian, social services, and do you know what? Even the solicitors, because the longer they have my son, the more money they're going to make, and that's what it's all about, and that's what it's always been about, right? And I tell you what, do not ever trust a social worker, because they are not there for you. They come across sometimes really friendly, you know, like wolf in sheep's clothing, but I'm telling you, do not trust a social worker, and be careful what you say to them, right, because they will use everything against you. But do you know what, even if you tell them the whole truth, right, and the innocent truth like I did, they will twist it left, right and centre. And I'm going to go, because I just can't handle this anymore right now. And